Why do you think I'm at the supermarket?
You need to buy these ingredients on the list. I'll prepare the rest.
We're going to make tteokguk. tteokguk 떡, check. Seasoned flavor, check. Eggs, check. Next on the list is welsh onion. Beef brisket, check. Why did we decide to make tteokguk? It is because of this invitation that came to us. That is why we also decided to prepare tteokguk, which is a traditional Korean dish that everyone eats for New Year's Day in Korea. 짠!
Did you get everything?
맞게 사왔죠?
I think you did.
레시피는 찾아오셨죠?
Of course.
그러면 처음 어떻게 하면 돼요?
First, we soften the tteok in water. Then stir-fry the beef in a pot with sesame and vegetable oil.
기름을 넣고
It smells good already.
물을 부어요?
Yes.
물을 부었습니다. 간장으로 간을 맞추고.
You must not cook very well.
저 잘해요.
Then why don't you know how to make tteokguk?
아니 이게 제가 먹을 게 아니잖아요. 대사님을 갖다 드려야 되는 거니까 뭔가 제대로 된 레시피가 필요하지 않을까 싶어서 부탁드린 거예요.
Aha!
끓어요.
We need to prepare the egg garnish.
기름을 너무 많이 넣으면 안 돼요. 와우! 하얀 지단 완성! 다음은 노른자입니다. 지단을 오늘 처음 해봐요. 하지만 전혀 처음 하는 것 같지가 않죠? 너무 익숙하고 잘하니까.
I won't comment on that.
여러분 완벽한 노란색. 지단은 준비가 됐어요, 톡톡님.
Should we use the Welsh onion for garnish?
육수 맛을 한번 봐주십시오.
I think it needs more salt.
소금 넣었어요. 톡톡님 근데 지금 떡을 넣어서 끓이면 안 될 것 같아요. 떡이 다 불지 않을까요?
Oh, you're right.
그럼 제가 이거를 가지고 가서 내일 아침에 끓여서 갖고 올게요.
Good idea.
여러분, 저희는 디플로맷 토크입니다. 요리쇼가 아닙니다.
Right. You're watching Diplomat Talks. Let's go meet the Ambassador of the Philippines now.
안녕하세요, 감독님.
안녕하세요. 한복을 입으셨네요?
설날 특집이잖아요. 딱 한복을 입고 오늘 설날 특집을 했다는 티를 내줘야죠. 저희는 그래서 지금 필리핀 식당에 왔고요. 필리핀 대사님을 필리핀 식당에서 만나기로 했습니다.
왜 식당으로 왔어요?
왜 식당에서 만나자고 했냐고요? 필리핀 음식을 저희에게 준비해 주시기 위해서죠.
우리 대접만 받는 거예요?
저도 가져왔죠. 이거 안 보이십니까? 이 가방? 여기 지금 한국 음식들이 잔뜩 들어있어요.
잔뜩요?
잔뜩. Our filming location is a Filipino restaurant located in 성북동. 여기요. 여기 써 있어요. 촬영이 예약되어 있다고. 안녕하세요, 마부하이. Kumusta po kayo? Mabuti. Welcome. Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Hi. Wow, so you're preparing these all foods?
Yes, these are all Philippine dishes that we like to prepare for special occasions like New Year.
I was surprised to see so much more food prepared than I had expected.
When did you start to cook this sort of food?
Usually, Filipinos start cooking whole day for the evening meal, for the very special New Year's meal called medianoche, at midnight or close to midnight.
And your clothes are traditional clothes?
This is a traditional Filipino terno.
Because I wear traditional
you're-
hanbok as well because
you're
it is
wearing
a
the
special
hanbok.
edition for Seollal.
Yes. So as I said, for New Year's, we prepare a big table with a lot of food.
The food prepared by the ambassador was not just on one table. There was another one.
Like Korea with your kimchi and other fermented foods, we also have fermented fruits and vegetables in the Philippines. This is achara, for example. It's pickled papaya. We also have pickled mango. And we have fermented shrimp, which you can use as a dip for the fresh Philippine mango, or in this case, the okra. And these are the other fruits and vegetables that we have in the Philippines that we produce, which are also available now here in Korea. Our papayas, our pineapple, of course, our famous sweet and fragrant mangoes, our bananas, the durian, which we export to Korea in frozen form, and most recently okra, which is a very healthy vegetable, and hopefully soon are also our has avocados.
There was a Korean dish that came to mind when I saw fermented shrimp.
It looks very similar to Korean
Yes.
food, jeotgal.
Jeotgal,
Yes.
yes, it's very similar to that.
Can I try this? I really want to try
yes,
this.
please,
With
please.
mango?
It's best eaten with mango. What you do is you take a piece of mango,
Okay.
which is a little sour. This is not yet the ripe mango. And then a little of the shrimp paste, what we call bagoong, which is on the salty side.
What would it taste like?
It tastes similar as well with Korean jeotgal.
Yes,
oh,
it
but
is.
it's very. Oh, I like this. It's a little sour.
It's a little sour,
but
still
it's
sour.
savory, so I think it goes
Yes, goes well together,
Oh, I like this.
savory.
It was something I've never tasted before, but strangely, I couldn't stop eating this.
I'd like to show you two very interesting items on the holiday table for Filipinos. One is the tablea. These are cacao tablets which you melt with milk to make very thick hot chocolate.
chocolate?
Hot
Oh, you
chocolate,
drink hot
yes.
chocolate
We drink hot chocolate.
on New Year's?
We drink hot chocolate
Oh.
for the Christmas and New Year's holiday. But we also drink it on other occasions, but especially during this time of year. And also what we call the queso de bola,
Queso de
which is
bola?
Spanish literally for cheese ball. And it's something that we inherited, so to speak, from our Spanish heritage. Cheese ball for New Year's, for the holidays. Again, it is a sign of prosperity. And also the shape is round. So for Filipinos, having a table with many round items or circular items is very important for New Year's because it means good luck and prosperity. There are no sharp edges. So if you're very lucky, it just goes round and round. You will enjoy the luck throughout the year.
After listening to the ambassador's explanation, I understood why the table was full of round foods.
Actually, I brought some special Korean food as well.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
So, could you give me 10 minutes to set the food?
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Looking
Okay,
forward
so
to
let's
it.
take
Thank you.
10 minutes.
I started to set the table with Korean Seollal foods.
그리고 제가 준비한 비장의 음식. 짜잔. 바로 샀습니다. 지단이랑 소고기랑 파. 어때요?
It is now time to put the food that I have prepared on the table.
그래 칠게요. 하나, 둘, 셋.
So I think I should introduce my Korean food for 설날. This is tteokguk, which is rice cake soup, and this is the most important food in 설날.
for 설날.
Yes, because this represents good luck and new beginning. And by eating this tteokguk, we get 1 year older and wiser.
Oh, I see.
So if you don't want to get a year older, you shouldn't eat this.
But I want to get wiser.
Okay,
so I think I
then
will,
we have
I will
to
try it.
eat this. And this is jeon. This is Korean pancake, and we always have jeon served in important occasions like parties, wedding, or rituals. And this is Korean desserts, rice cake and
traditional.
honey pastries.
For the New Year holidays in the Philippines, actually we celebrate two kinds of New Years. We celebrate it twice. One is what we call the Western New Year, which we celebrate from December 31st to January 1st. And the other is the Lunar New Year, which is primarily observed by the Filipino Chinese community, but now more and more people observe it also. So these are the kinds of food you would find on the Philippine New Year's table. So very important dish is the noodle dish, what we call the pancit. Pancit is a generic term for different types of noodle dishes. The noodles signify long life. So very important for us. And of course, we also serve some other dishes like the adobo. Based on our research, this is one of the most popular Filipino dishes among Koreans.
Really?
This is called sinigang,
Sinigang.
which is a soup. It's a stew. It is very traditional in the Philippines for New Year's to have a tray or a basket with 12 round fruits. 12 round fruits. One fruit for each month of the year. Again, for good luck and prosperity. And the most important round fruit in the Philippines for New Year is the grape. For the Filipinos, it's the perfect round fruit for good luck and prosperity.
I made it
Really?
myself.
Oh, then it must be good.
Okay. Do families gather around and spend time together?
For Lunar New Year, which is a holiday in the Philippines, so people do not have work. People gather. Some people have fireworks. Fireworks to drive away the bad spirits and only welcome good spirits for the year. For Lunar New Year, there is also a popular rice, a glutinous sticky rice dish called the tikoy or nyangao, which people give away as gifts. And we also, some families also give out the hongbao or the red envelope with money inside.
Oh, really?
For prosperity for the entire year.
In Lunar New Year in Korea, we have this tradition called sebae. It's like bowing to the elders. And when we do that, elder people give sebaeton, which is money.
Talk Talk will tell you about Korean Lunar New Year's traditions. Seollal means Lunar New Year in Korean and is one of Korea's biggest holidays. There are many special customs for Seollal, the first holiday of the new year after sending off the old. On Seollal morning, Koreans wear seolbim or new clothes for Seollal. Families gather together to perform a special ancestral rite called and visit and tend to the ancestral graves, a custom called seongmyo. On Saturday morning, Koreans greet adults in the family by bowing to them in sebae. The adults who receive sebae offer well wishes or give cash gifts called sebae-don. Koreans enjoy a variety of holiday foods for Seollal. One of the representative Seollal foods is tteokguk. Koreans believe one must have a bowl of this rice cake soup to grow a year older. Along with tteokguk, other holiday foods include japchae or stir-fried glass noodles, various kinds of jeon or Korean pancakes, sanjak or Korean skewers, and kangjang or sweet rice puffs.
Oh, this is really good.
The first Filipino New Year's dish I tried was pancit.
Eating this makes me live longer.
Yes, yes. We also serve noodle dishes for not only for New Year's but also for birthdays. You may want to try the Philippine roasted pork and see if it's similar to samgyeopsal. Shall I try the jeon also? Because you know this is very popular in the Philippines. Yes.
Oh, this is really good.
Next, it was time to try sinigang, one of the most popular Filipino foods among Koreans. It was a little carved and
it's
savory.
good. I think because we don't have many sour foods in Korea,
that's why
they find this maybe exotic.
maybe exotic, interesting,
Yeah.
something new.
어, 맛있다.
맛있다?
맛있어요.
It's a very strong flavor.
And this is okra, right?
This is okra, yes.
Which you can now buy in Korea.
You can now buy here. It's a very, very healthy vegetable. I highly recommend it. But you can do many things with okra. You can even make the jeon with okra, okra pancake. And what we will do, we can probably try to make okra kimchi. I think you can also make kimchi with okra.
Maybe we should try it together.
Yes.
Some foods tasted similar to Korean food, but some I had never tasted before. Filipino food had so many different charms, I wondered where this diversity came from.
I think what makes Filipino food, Filipino cuisine very diverse is that because of our geographic location, we have had many cultural encounters with different countries, different cultures. Of course, we have a colonial history also. That's why we have Spanish and Western influences in our food. And also because we are in Southeast Asia, some of the food that we have are very similar to some of the food also in our neighboring countries.
The Philippines, an archipelago made up of more than 7,000 islands, is a country where you can experience as many cultures as there are islands. The reason for the coexistence of such diverse forms of culture can be found in the country's historical background. The Philippines, which was a tribal state until the 16th century, had already started trading with China around the 6th century and with Islamic countries around the 10th century. Islam spread to the Philippines in the 14th century. An Islamic kingdom was established in the southern Mindanao region. From the mid to late 16th century, the Philippines came under foreign colonial rule. It was under Spanish rule for about 300 years, from 1571, and in the 20th century, it was under the rule of the US and Japan until gaining independence in 1946. Filipino culture became diversity itself, with the inflow and mixture of different cultures and ethnic groups through foreign trade, as well as the existing pre-colonial culture and colonial influence. An area where one can properly experience Philippine culture, where the East and West coexist, is in its food. Based on indigenous dishes and influenced by Chinese, Spanish, and American cuisines, Filipino food has evolved over the centuries to become more diverse and rich.
But what we've done is that we've made them our own. For example, adobo is actually, the process of making adobo is Spanish in origin, but we've made our own dish out of the process. And so now adobo is known as a Filipino dish.
So, except for the diversity, what kind of other characteristics do you have in your food?
Well, Filipino food is also regional in that sense, because we're a very ethnically diverse country. So I think that makes it a very exciting cuisine to discover. There's always something new to discover in the Philippines.
So, what is the most maybe special food in your hometown?
I come from the province of Pampanga, which is known as the food capital of the Philippines. And one of the most popular is a dish called sisig. This is chopped pig's cheeks, this part. So they chop them in very, very small pieces, and then they're sautéed with a lot of garlic, onions, and chilies, and it's placed on a hot dish. So when it's served to you, it's still very, very hot, and it's steaming.
I really want to try that.
Yes, yes,
someday.
you should try that.
I didn't
Because
know
I know
you-
here in Korea, you also have dishes with using pig cheeks and pig's ears,
Yes, yes.
for example. So we do that in our province too. So sisig.
Oh, sisig.
Sisig.
Okay,
It's
I'll
also
remember
a very good dish to drink with beer.
I found that there is a method in diplomacy called gastrodiplomacy. So would you consider this interview as gastrodiplomacy?
Certainly, indeed. This is, I think, a very wonderful example of gastrodiplomacy. Gastrodiplomacy is essentially introducing your country's food culture and traditions so that there's a growing awareness and identification of your cultural image as a country and as a people. And so by introducing some of our most popular dishes, it also gives you an idea of what our country produces and what we are capable of producing, and also the traditions that go into the creation of the foods.
Gastrodiplomacy is a public diplomacy tool and a type of cultural diplomacy. Public diplomacy scholar Paul Rockower, who was one of the first to popularize the term gastrodiplomacy, says its basic premise is that the easier way to win hearts and minds is through the stomach. Korea is a country that has successfully carried out gastrodiplomacy. In 2009, the Korean government launched a campaign to promote Korean food to the world. By establishing the Korean Food Foundation, efforts were made to globalize Korean food at the national level and strengthen the competitiveness of related industries. Gastrodiplomacy not only enhances a country's cultural influence abroad, it can also be used to export agricultural products and food through food promotion and to revitalize the tourism industry.
But sometimes food becomes the reason to visit some
Exactly,
country.
exactly. I've been on my trips to Jeju Island, for example, I always try to taste and to see the interesting seafood, for example. In Busan, I always go to a very famous hot dog place because I love hot dog. Yes, because it's their specialty, Busan hot dog. And
With the seed in it?
with the seed. With the seeds, so I enjoy that very much. So I think food and travel are very important. They're twin interests that always go well together.
Does the Philippine government has any policy regarding gastrodiplomacy?
Yes, we actually designated April as Filipino Food Month. So every year, every April, all our embassies around the world or our consulates general, we do Philippine food promotion. So, for example, last year here in Korea, we presented several Filipino restaurants located here in Korea, not just in Seoul, but throughout the country. So people will know if they want to try Filipino food or they missed Filipino food, then they can go to these places. So all over Korea. I think last year when we did it, there were about 14 Filipino restaurants throughout Korea, but I think since then, there are newer ones. So we're excited to showcase more Filipino restaurants and Filipino chefs and cooks in April. and throughout the year. In addition to what I mentioned about Filipino Food Month, whenever we host big events, conferences, for example, for our leaders, for our presidents, whenever they host dignitaries at the presidential palace, Malacanang Palace, like now under President Ferdinand Marcos, they always serve Philippine cuisine. And in fact, very recently, our Vice President, Sara Duterte, met with her counterpart, the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. And in the middle of their meeting, their conversation, Vice President Harris mentioned that one of her favorite foods is Philippine lumpia. And they talked about it. So I think food is a very powerful tool for building connections and having closer engagement with other countries among leaders and also among the public.
If Korean president visited Philippines, what kind of food would you like to introduce to him?
Well, because I have seen the Korean president, President Yoon, enjoy a bowl of noodles, maybe something with noodles in it, because we have a lot of dishes featuring noodles, and also we have a lot of soups and stew. So maybe the chefs of President Marcos will be able to prepare something really delicious for him, something unforgettable and memorable for him. I would hope that they would also serve fresh Philippine mangoes.
Okay. I hope Korean president will visit Philippines.
We hope so too. We look forward to that.
Okay, lastly, we give well wishes to people during Seollal. So could you give well wishes remarks to our viewers?
I wish you an abundance of joy, peace, prosperity, good health, and also great luck in 2023, the year of the water rabbit. And for Philippine-Korea relations, I hope that this will continue to be more active and engaged in the coming years. And I hope that the world will finally get back on its feet again and emerge from the pandemic stronger and more resilient and more open. We'd like to greet you Happy New Year. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. 만igong bagong taon.
만igong bagong taon, Ambassador.
Bagong taon, yes.
I was able to greet the Lunar New Year with a plentiful heart thanks to the ambassador.
Thank you, I'm sure it will.
And I decided to journal all of the feelings that I had today.
달콤해요. 근데 엄청 달진 않아.
그럼 뭔 말이에요? 저기요, 피디님?
기분 좋은 달콤함. 제가 끓인 떡국 좀 드셔보세요, 여러분. 이게 망고스프에다 담겨요.